What's your biggest question about retirement planning right now? The one question that if you had the answer, you would feel extremely confident about your retirement plan. I've got that and more coming up. If you could ask a certified financial planner one question about retirement planning, just one, what would it be? What is your biggest question about retirement planning right now? Take a minute, leave your answer or that question in the comments below. While you're there, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button as well, because we get so many great questions and comments from fans of the Wise Money Show. But I want to hear from you because I want to create a video. I want to create some content answering those specific questions, may even feature your specific question there. So leave a comment below. What is your biggest question about retirement right now that if you knew the answer, if you had the answer, it would give you great confidence that you're on track for a successful retirement? Well, until I hear from you, until we create that follow-up video and follow-up content answering your questions, here's the question that I believe will be the most common. The one that I think is going to be the most likely question based on the new clients that have come to our offices that we meet with and help serve in a comprehensive financial planning way. Here's what I believe the number one, the biggest question about retirement planning is. Will I have enough money to retire and stay retired? Will I have enough money to retire and stay retired? Most people miss and overlook that second part, but that's really what's meant. Most people want to retire once and do it with confidence, not have to go back to work. So will I have enough money to retire? I wish there was one number that I wish I could answer that question that would apply to everyone right now, and then alleviate that concern. You'd have confidence and be ready to attack your financial life and achieve your goals. But there isn't one number that applies to everyone. I've shared before, we've seen people be able to retire with less than $500,000 and do so with confidence and successfully. They didn't think they'd be able to. We crunched the numbers and worked with them, and yeah, it works. Go right ahead. And we've had other people with a couple $1 million saved up where they weren't ready to retire. So we know that there isn't one number that fits in every situation. So it depends. So instead, unfortunately, I can't tell you exactly what your number is, but I can tell you how you can find out. That's working with your certified financial planner, but it's going through the 5-factor retirement plan that if you're a fan of the Wise Money Show, we talk about this all the time, because anything short of these 5 factors, I'm just going to say is inadequate. It's a shortcut leading you to an answer that is not going to be helpful. It's not going to get you where you want to go. And knowing when you can retire, or will I have enough, like how much do I need in order to retire? Retirement's likely the biggest financial decision that we're all going to make in our lives. And you want to do so with great confidence, and that requires the right process and approach. So the 5 factors that are all interrelated, this is how, no matter your situation, this is how you answer that question. We've seen all sorts of financial situations. Ones from, you would never believe, how blessed and the resources that they've been able to save up. And a lot of folks that are either in crisis or right outside of crisis. We've never seen a financial situation where we haven't been able to build a successful 5-factor retirement plan. Does it require sacrifice? Sure. Yeah, at times, absolutely. But there is a solution out there. So what are the 5 factors? First is age. When do you want to be done? And if you're not on track, one of the sacrifices, one of the trade-offs you might need to make is, well, how long are you willing to work? If you're not quite able to reach that ideal age because of the other factors, what age would you just hope, gosh, well, even if I'm behind, I hope to be able to retire by this age. What's your plan B? So that's age, and incorporated with age is life expectancy. So it's a calculation, just sort of being nerdy. How long do you think retirement's going to last? My analogy that I've used is, if you're going on vacation, which one's going to cost more? A long weekend or going on vacation for 2 weeks, right? The one that's going to last 2 weeks, of course, is going to be more expensive. So age is, how long do you expect retirement to last? A second factor, And I would argue these are all critically important, because if they weren't, then we'd make it'd be the 4 factors or the 3 factors, right? All 5 are critically important. But if there's one that is the most important, it's spending. It's how much do you expect to spend in retirement? Now, this is the dividing line. And where, again, I think the biggest question that people have about retirement planning and their retirement is, will I have enough saved up? But it's really directly related to when are you going to be done and how much are you going to spend? How much are you planning on spending in retirement? That's been the difference between the folks that have retired with just a couple $100,000 and the folks that can't retire with a couple million is, well, how much do you plan to spend? And that is just your base spending, but it's also your healthcare in retirement. That's got to be a separate line item. Any debt that you have in retirement, hopefully you'll be paying it off in retirement or before, but that's got to be listed as a line item. Typically vacations or some sort of extra allowance for the go-go years of retirements, that should be factored in, as well as taxes. These are separate line items that can influence, either have different inflation rates or different have a different impact depending on the year. So they all need to be separate line items, and an analysis needs to be done to make sure that the right amount is factored in. And then you add an inflation component on top of that. So that's the second factor. How much do you plan to spend? Third, what are your retirement income sources? So this is where you're going to address some of the other maybe biggest financial or retirement questions out there. What should you do with Social Security? Should you claim it right away? Should you delay for a year, 2 years, delay all the way until age 70? What are your other sources of income? If you have a pension, should you take that lump sum? Should you take it life only, 100% joint survivor? Do you have any real estate income? Those sorts of things. What are your retirement income sources? Fourth factor is exactly what I believe the biggest question is about retirement planning, and that is, will I have enough? And that is, how much do you have saved up? How much do you currently have saved up, and how much are you saving? How much are you planning on saving every single year from now until you retire? And then the fifth factor, the fifth question is risk. How much investment risk are you comfortable taking with those investment dollars that you have saved up? Those are the 5 factors, and they're interrelated. Making a decision in one area is going to impact your choices in the other. So for example, right? If you say, well, the biggest question is, will I have enough to retire and stay retired? Well, if by the time you get to retirement, you'd say, I'm so nervous about any volatility, any gyrations in the stock market, I don't want to take any risk, that last factor, then the potential return, the potential growth of your investments throughout your retirement, should be lower, right? And that might mean you've got to save up even more in order to be able to answer confidently, yes, I will have enough to retire and stay retired. That's just one example, but making a decision in any one of those 5 factors will influence your choices in the other. So it's not just, well, I'm going to answer those questions and then I'm good. You then need to answer those questions and then do a stress test. Do an analysis of those 5 factors contributed together, how you answer those 5 factors together to see if that stress test leads to, yeah, you're on track for a confident retirement. And if not, then what are the trade-offs? Would you work an extra year? Would you save a little bit more? Could you spend a little bit less? Would you be willing to take a little bit more risk? And you go through those trade-offs with your certified financial planner until you find a plan or 2 that shows, yeah, we're on track. And that's your plan. And that's how you answer, will I have enough to retire and stay retired? An online calculator is not going to do that. It's not going to give you all 5 factors. It's not going to be as detailed, so that it might give you a result, but it's not one that I would have confidence in. Same when you log into your 401k, typically it's going to say, oh, you're on track with an income, blah, blah, blah. No, there aren't the 5 factors. That analysis is not input there. So it's just the output is untrustworthy. That's the work that you need to do to be able to answer that question. What I believe the biggest question about retirement planning, will I have enough to retire and stay retired? Go through that 5-factor analysis working with your certified financial planner. To take your first step, go to wisemoneyguides.com. We've got a 5-factor guide that walks you through those questions, where you can talk through what your answers are and maybe some of the trade-offs and so on. That can be your first step before you meet with your certified financial planner to work on those trade-offs and do that stress testing. So leave your question below. What is your biggest question as it relates to retirement planning right now? Leave that below and I'll feature it on an upcoming video. If you don't have a certified financial planner that can help you with those 5 factors and make sure that you're on track for a confident retirement, you can reach out to one on our team. You can find us online, korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K-Wise20show.com. You can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.